Hello guys, and welcome back to this channel. If you're new, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. So why are black women the least to get married? We often see that a lot of white women graduate college or university with a ring on their finger, but that is not the usual reality for black women. Why is that? Well, this is what this creator had to say was the reason or the reasons, because she had a lot to say.
Of a group of white girls who are sitting at their graduation engaged. And the question came up, well, why is there not the reality for black women? I know y'all not gonna like what I gotta say, but you know me, I'm gonna say it anyways. First and foremost, black women are above reproach. If it don't validate us or excuse our bad behavior, we don't want to hear it. Instead, we'll say, well, men do it too. Secondly, we'll find every excuse in the world to validate why we don't want to be married or why we don't want to be in a relationship. Well, they get cheated on. Well, they do this. Well, they do that. But then we have all these standards for men, and we're still actively seeking for men in the midst of our hurt while inadvertently telling them to go to therapy. We do not practice what we preach. Thirdly, the independent woman is a myth. Actually cared about being independent and it was something that made you happy, you would not have all these standards to negate your independence. Nobody wants to relinquish power. Find every excuse in the world to not be submissive and wonder why white women can get away with their bad behavior. We take everything bad from white women except for the fact using marriage to our own benefit. But you'll run to the child support office though. Equality against men, and the only time we actually want to be equal to men is when it comes to degenerate behavior, hypersexuality, abusing or abandoning children. Even when it comes to the gold digger conversation, what you don't see those other women do, even when they are just screwing men for money, is bashing men and inadvertently making men feel like they're not important. Also too, telling them that they don't need men. Psychologically, we have been taught to disassociate ourselves, and even in that Malcolm X quote where he says the black woman is the most disrespected, he also says to be near your man. Because who taught you to hate the very race that you're supposed to be with?
Black women are above approach. They'll find any excuse in the world to validate why they don't want to get married. And the independent woman is a myth. Well, that's what she said, not me. That is what she had to say. And this sparked a whole conversation on TikTok. And this is what other creators had to say.
Y'all not gonna like what I gotta say, but you know me, I'm gonna say it anyways. First and foremost, black women are above reproach.
I'm stitching this video, but I can't even tell you what she said at the end because it was given very much pick me. And the thing is, I'm so sick and tired of people with this narrative and black women independent and they don't know how to be submissive, yada, yada, yada. First of all, we're not even gonna talk about why black women may have evolved to that. You know that. We're not even gonna talk about that. But secondly, we have to understand that all black women are not like that. First of all, let's get that out of the way. The second point about how black women are the least to be married in college. I'm in college right now. How many college-age black males are even taught to prioritize having a wife in the first place? I'll wait. Exactly. Even when people have good intentions, a lot of the time, even in the black community, for both genders, they tell you, you know what, wait on the right person, wait. And most of the time, it's because whoever's telling you to wait, yada, yada, they're not really sure about marriage. It's because of their past failed relationships. That's why they can't condone marriage, because they had failed relationships. That's why they're telling you to wait. But the thing is, like, my point, it's not just a black woman don't know. We gotta let that go.
Of a group of white girls who are sitting at their graduation engaged. And the question came up, well, why is there not the reality?
A lot of you who are stitching her video are actually proving her right, that black women really do believe that we are above reproach. One of the reasons that you don't see a lot of black women with rings on their finger black women have drunk the Kool-Aid on black love and spoon-fed it to their daughters. Okay, so they're not even open to dating other races of men who are much more marriage ready, who are much more marriage minded. So you got black girls chasing black men, and I promise you some of them white girls who were in that audience were engaged to black men. And then at the HBCU level, the numbers are not even there. The men are not even there to have quite a few young ladies with rings on their finger. You know, and black men generally are not trying to get married that young. And that's where I think some of the pushback is, because you know it's not just about our attitudes. You know it's not just about us being headstrong. No, there's layers to this. There's layers to this.
A group of white girls who are sitting at their graduation engaged. And the question came up, well, why is there not the reality?
So let me tell you why, because all the white women have told me this many, many times. First of all, black women go to college to get an education. And so do poor white women. Okay? We go to school to get an education to better ourselves. Them elite women, private colleges, Harvard, Yale, they go to school to find a husband. Honey. They go to school to find a doctor, a lawyer, an architect. We're not in school for the same reasons. They have educations in case they get divorced. They have something to fall back on. The primary goal is to marry into money and keep family money. You know what I'm talking about? Like, they're not there like I'm there to get an education. They're there to find a husband of their own social status. That's why.
Of a group of white girls who are sitting at their graduation engaged. And the question came up, well, why is there not the reality?
Why are you minding white women's business? See, when they insert themselves into our business, we quick to check them. Now, I'm not going to play that double standard shit. Mind your business. Stay out of white women's business. Okay? They're men. And what they do with their men and why they choose to marry their men at a certain time is their white business. We got too much shit going on in our community because our black men don't want to get their mental health together. And you up here comparing us to them. Worry about your own black business. And I can assure you most black women that got married out of high school or college are divorced now. Because our men have mommy issues and they're going through a mental health crisis. This is giving pick me energy because black women don't need no man to be successful.
Of a group of white girls who are sitting at their graduation engaged. And the question came up, well, why is there not the reality?
Okay, so first of all, we're just going to skip the blatant internalized misogyny that this woman has and skip to the part where I tell you that I was homeschooled, and I grew up in many different homeschool spaces. Some of them were Afrocentric and diverse and more liberal, but I also grew up in conservative Christian evangelical homeschool spaces, so I know what I'm talking about. There is the culture of these women usually going to college, going to school, and the goal is to find a future husband. There's nothing wrong with this. If that's what you want to do, like, do it. But I'm just saying, like, these women are not going to college to get a degree that they then use to, like, jumpstart their career. They're going to college to find a husband to one day be a housewife. And like I said, that's nothing wrong. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But most black women do not go to school with the intention of one day being a housewife or a homeschool mom or a private school mom or soccer mom or whatever. A lot of black women go to school and their top priority is that education for that career. That's just what it is.
Sitting at their graduation engaged. And the question came up, well, why is there not the reality for black women?
Hey, girl. Okay. So my TikTok, I usually try to keep it pretty light, right? I don't really stitch videos and things like that. If I do, it's because it's something that I feel strongly enough about that I'm going to take time out of my life to stitch back. In this video, I felt that strength, but not for the reasons that I think most would think. I don't really have a problem with what Miss Mama said about why black women are not as likely to get married as white women. And the reason why I don't have a problem with that, because I think anybody who listened to the video and watched the video, you definitely know women within our own community that fit that description. My problem was the generality of it all. You made a very general statement about Black women as if you, one singular person, knows most or majority of Black women when you probably don't know 0.0000001%. It was too much of a general statement for such a huge population that you know a very minuscule number of. I think it would have hit different if you would have said the Black women I know, the Black women I've been in communication with, the Black women in my life, most Black women I've talked to. I think if you would have made it more about a personal experience of yours with other women in our community, it would have hit and landed a little bit different because it would have been more about an experience than a matter of a fact. The facts are, nothing about your video was factual. It was all an experience. These are things that you've experienced other women in our community feeling, saying, and how they've lived. People tend to listen to those who speak very eloquently and take it as, oh yeah, this girl know what she's talking about. And I'm not saying you don't know what you're talking about. I'm just saying that's not most Black women, majority Black women's experience. And I'm speaking from my own experience. It's definitely not my experience. And it's not really the experience of most people that I know. But it rang true for some. And it's definitely something that's worth noting if it rang true for you. Lastly, are you married? Because the way you're speaking about why Black women aren't getting married would be really concerning if you are a Black woman who's unmarried.
A group of white girls who are sitting at their graduation engaged. And the question came up, well, why is there not the reality?
The answer is very simple. Two different upbringings. Black women were raised to be independent, do not depend on a man, and do what you got to do to take care of you, yourself, your family, or whoever. White women were raised to find you a man that's going to take care of the household, be a good father, and you be a good stay-at-home wife. Black women weren't around a lot of married people growing up, and if we were, it was grandmother who really don't even like granddad, and they just would stand together just to be together. White women literally grew up generation after generation of married high school sweethearts, so they don't know anything more. Black women weren't raised on love, we was raised on survival. Do what you gotta do for yourself and not depend on a man. White women were raised that the man is gonna take care of you, just be a loving wife. Also, the grass is not green on the other side. Be happy within yourself. Don't try to compare yourself to others.
A group of white girls who are sitting at their graduation engaged. And the question came up, well, why is there not the reality?
Thank you for sharing. Thank y'all. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this, but thank you for sharing. Why are all these young Black women on this app trying to give all this old ass, crusty, dusty, judgmental, bitter ass auntie advice to other Black women? What's going on? What's happening? Who's the intended audience for something like that? Like, I know it's not me, but are we supposed to be motivated by this? Am I supposed to be like, oh my God, let me get my life together? Like, what are we supposed to do with this?
A group of white girls who are sitting at their graduation engaged. And the question came up, well, why is there not the reality?
The reason it's not a reality for Black girls is because we still don't understand as a whole why they're in college in the first place. Let me tell you something about these elite colleges, these top tier colleges, Ivy League, like these schools that the private schools too, they are not there to get an education. And I don't know which school that this was that this young lady was talking about in this video. I don't know. But I do know this. These top schools, these elite schools, baby, they're there. They're networking. Those young men, they are networking. That's why they're there. those young women, they're there looking for husbands. They're networking too. But we don't understand, because we go to school for very different reasons. The reason you are sending your black sons and daughters to college and you're encouraging it, those are not the same reasons that a particular type of person is sending their sons and daughters. Because remember, I told you, white is a social class. It ain't got nothing to do with the color of your skin. It's a social class. We're talking about economic power. We're talking about people who are in positions to make decisions that affect the rest of us. That's what white is. It ain't got nothing to do with the color of your skin, because I told you in another video, Oprah's white. Look at all that stuff that kind of swirled around her, surrounding certain people. She's a white woman. I mean, it is what it is. She picked the president. That's not power. So, they're sending their children, encouraging their children to go for particular reasons. It's about networking. They're there networking. These young men and the young men, these people are interacting in college with senators. Think about that.
Well, that's what everyone had to say, you guys. And I definitely learned something new, because I would have never thought that this is solely why white women go to college. Apparently, they call it ring by spring, but it's definitely makes sense. And I think people definitely tend to forget that black and white people live in two totally different realities, socially and economically. So you can't just vaguely make comparisons like this without taking that into consideration. Because as an African myself, when I go to college or university, finding a partner is the last thing I'm thinking about, because I'm thinking about improving mine and my family's economical situation. And also, marrying in your early 20s is not usually the greatest idea, because you haven't even gotten a chance to fully mature and understand yourself as a person, which is why a lot of these people are usually divorced by 30. But that's just my opinion. Please do let me know what's yours down the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.